In 2003, a fungal virus that turns its victims bloodthirsty and infects those they attack sparks a global pandemic. Joel flees with his daughter Sarah as the virus starts to spread, but she is killed by a soldier who attacks them, while Joel is saved by his brother Tommy. 20 years later, the virus has ravaged the world. Joel lives in the Boston quarantine zone, tightly managed by the Federal Disaster Response Agency, or FEDRA, with his partner Tess as smugglers. When Tommy fails to contact them from his location in Wyoming, they try to buy a car battery from a local dealer, but it is instead sold to the Fireflies, a rebel group that opposes Fedra. Attempting to retrieve it, they find the deal has gone awry, and Marlene, the Fireflies' wounded leader, begs Joel and Tess to take young Ellie to the Massachusetts State House and hand her off to the Fireflies in exchange for supplies. They are caught by a soldier while sneaking out, and Ellie stabs him before he can test her for infection, prompting Joel to beat him to death when he tries to shoot her. Tess realizes Ellie is infected, but she promises them that she has not turned since she was infected 3 weeks earlier. Joel, Tess, and Ellie enter a biological contamination area to flee the pursuing Fedra soldiers. That is the synopsis for The Last of Us. This is season 1, and this is episode 1, entitled When You're Lost in the Darkness. This show really starts with a bang. It really is tense. A lot of, white knuckling it when you're grabbing onto your chair and you're on the edge of your seat. I mean, the first 30 minutes, we see Sarah, the daughter of Joel Miller. Joel Miller, of course, he's played by Pedro Pascal. And his daughter is played by Nico Parker. Now, I watched the inside the episode that follows right after the show, and the guy, the creator or the showrunner, said that she was going to be somebody they cast that's going to make everybody fall in love with her. And I admit that I did, and I thought that she's such a sweet girl, very pretty, very loyal to her dad. And then when she died, that was heartbreaking. I was like, oh no, I'm like, not her, but she did. And it caused him to go on a downward spiral. And even when he's there in Boston, like 20 years later, he's still having dreams of her. And that whole thing with Ellie, who's played by Bella Ramsey. She played Leona Mormont from in Game of Thrones. And the thing about it, though, is that I didn't make the connection until I was watching the episode. And I'm like, Pedro Pascal, he played Oberyn. And in the Game of Thrones, and then she played in Game of Thrones as well. It's almost like the other show that I watched is called Andor, and then Vel, the one girl, and then this other guy who was like a commander or something. They were in Game of Thrones together. I think that's what happens when you have a show that's from HBO, and then you have another show, and then they will, cast people from past shows. And they're very good together. They got good chemistry. The one part when he was beating that one guy to death, as that police officer, that Fedra agent, and she was smiling. She was like, she got, what's that word? But she got like activated or something, I guess, because she's infected. She's not one of them, but she's infected. She's been infected for 3 weeks. And that's the reason why they got to get her to to that place, that Massachusetts State House. They probably have something that they can help her with. The whole thing is to bring her there so that they can hand her off to the Fireflies in exchange for supplies and stuff. I mean, they're trying to get a battery from this scumbag, who pretty much was trying to sell them, some bad set of bad bill of what do you call that word? But it's like they weren't gonna get a good battery. She even looked at it and goes, "You tried to sell that to us twice." Pretty much calling him a scumbag and a dirtbag or whatever. You know what I mean? And Yeah, and they get wiped out. They get killed. You know, Marlene is wounded, bleeding out, but according to her, she's gonna be okay. She tells Joel to bring Ellie. Please do this. Don't fuck it up. That's what she said to him. One thing about Bella Ramsey, the spunkiness and the way that she would talk to people. Remember how she was in Game of Thrones, and she has that type of an attitude, but she's cursing a lot of f bombs. But it kind of fits her. It's not like it's forced. It's like, oh, they're trying to make her like a tough girl, and she's gonna. It's natural, but the girl's a great actress. I mean, who didn't love her in Game of Thrones as Leona Mormont, who was leading a whole house, a whole, you know, group of people, and they were behind her. That she pretty much was their queen, and she's calling people out and saying that you didn't step up and you didn't volunteer and you didn't try to help us in this fight, you know. And here she kind of has a little bit of that, but it's a different character. She doesn't have her accent. Her and Pedro Pascal too, doesn't have his accent. And like I said, they have a really good rapport. They got a really good chemistry. Don't I know don't they didn't yeah, they didn't share any scenes in Game of Thrones, but here they share a lot of scenes. Didn't like each other at first. She tried to attack him, and he just threw it to the side. He wouldn't give her knife at first and stuff. And I just like that. But going back to just how you see the old lady, she was the first one to get infected. You see her, like you see the one guy, and he's like all, he's all chewed up. He's whispering to her, "Help me." And then you see that the wife is getting, you know, chewed on by the old lady. And she looks up and she runs after Sarah. Sarah runs out there and she gets shot, the old lady, and she gets back up. And then Joel just has a wrench and just clocks her and she's out. I guess the gun didn't help, but the thing, I guess that was when you needed to finish it off. And then the whole thing of them going away. This was like the tense part, one of the tense parts, but they're driving and they're trying to go through a bunch of people. Joel's just like, oh, just run them over, just go through this, go through. And Joel, Tommy, his brother, doesn't want to do it, doesn't want that. He's played by Gabriel Luna. It was also a good part here too, a good acting by him. And you see that, and then you see these planes just coming over, and I don't know what that means. I think it means that somebody there, the pilot or whatever, was infected, and so the plane's going down, and stuff like that. Maybe somebody, one of the passengers, attacked the pilot, and then all of a sudden you see something when the plane crashes. You see something flying, and it goes dark, and then like she broke her ankle, Sarah, and then her uncle Tommy and then her dad Joel are there, and then they decide to get out of there, and she can't run or walk, and so he's carrying her while he's running, and you got these these agents out there, the Federalists, and they like he's saying, hey, we're safe, we're not infected, he's trying to tell them, and then they just shoot him. Now he gets grazed, he lifts his shirt, you see he gets grazed by the bullet, but that's unfortunately not the case with Sarah. Like I said earlier, this was really sad. I'm like, no, like I said earlier, I'm like, not her. And then she did, and then the showrunner saying that they wanted her purposely to be someone that we fall in love with, thinking we're going to have her for a number of episodes, but then she's gone after the first episode. And that was a sad thing. And then we go 20 years into the future. I'm thinking, wow, well, that's quite a jump, But you see Pedro Pascal, and he's aged by having a beard with gray in it, and supposedly he's 36 in the 2003 when we were there, and then he's like aged 20 years, so he's in his 50s. But he's only like 57 years old. 47 years old in real life. Pedro Pascal, and I can't wait till the Mandalorian comes, Mandalorian season 3. with him. So he's a busy guy, man. He's doing this and then he's doing Mandalorian. I mean, Pedro Pascal is all over the place, and why not, man? The guy is entertaining. He's a great actor. Loved him in everything that he's done, and this, excuse me, this series is really good, really good. I'm glad I decided to just do it, even though I'm in the middle of doing two other shows, which is House of the Dragon. Speaking of Game of Thrones, and Andor. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do this too because I want to be able to do a series right from the start, right from when it begins. That way I can kind of go along with everybody that's watching it and everybody's doing their videos and they're on the channel and everything. This is a really good show. I liked it. It moved slow, but not a bad thing. It was really, really well paced. You felt the tension. You felt what they were feeling. It's like you're in there and you're panicked too. You're like anxious, wondering, where the federal agents are. Are there those infected things that are out there? There are other things more dangerous than them, according to one guy that he was talking to. You have these guys called the Raiders, and I'm trying to, I forgot, I didn't get the name of the other things, but there are different types of people that are out there. And of course, in something like this, there are going to be people that are going to band together, and they're going to have their own agendas. It's like with the Walking Dead. You had the Saviors, right? You had the Reapers. You had all these different, the Whisperers. You had all these different, all out for themselves. Like, if you're not part of their crew, they'll take you out. They'll ask you what you got. They'll fucking shake you down. And we've seen that. We've seen what happened in that. And then here we have another post-apocalyptic type of thing. No more Walking Dead. I mean, the prequels and the spin-off shows are happening. They're not here yet. I think in March, right? We're going to see those. So this is going to tie us over until then. And what better way to watch a new show but have something like this based on a very popular video game. I mean, I only played maybe the first part of it, and not that I got bored with it, but it's pretty hard to play the game. And I remember getting it with my PS4 when I got the PS4, like 2018 or something like that. I'm trying to remember when. But the guy who created it, Neil Druckmann, he created the game, and then he's also on board here, helping out with the video game, which is with the movie on TV show, which is actually a pretty good deal, because why not? He even talked about it during the inside the episode thing, where he was like he was wondering what was going to happen with the show. He was looking at different ways people were going to adapt that video game into a movie or into a TV series, and then he saw this, and I guess he figured, okay, this guy's got something going, good script, a good way to do it. I mean, they even said that they wanted to enhance it. Like she said, that they're not going to try to change it, but they're going to enhance it to make it better. They're not going to try to change anything or anything like that. I mean, supposedly the opening sequence was actually the video game, and I'm trying to remember because it's been a while since I played it, but I think I do remember it being exactly like that. And like I said, this is a very, very, very good episode. Very good show so far. There's 9 episodes, and we'll see what happens next time. They did show a preview of the next episode. I think other things too, because it said in the weeks ahead, and they showed some other things that were happening, things that are going on. It looks interesting. It's gonna keep me invested in this show. I'm already a fan. I'm already, I was already intrigued when I heard that they were going to do a show based on that video game. I liked the video game. I didn't finish it because it was just, for me, it was kind of like hard to do. And maybe I'll go back to it and revisit it and try to play it, But it was a very good game, very interesting. But I like watching the TV show because I can just go along for the ride. I don't have to worry about playing it, worry about traversing this post-apocalyptic world and all that stuff, And those of you who see like the video game and you see her and that other girl, right? They actually have someone in this that looks exactly like that girl. So it's like they're kind of going with the video game, and I like that. I mean, Pedro Pascal looks like the father in the video game. People were talking about Bella Ramsey. She doesn't look like the girl. But do you want somebody that looks like somebody and put them in the show or put them in a movie? Or do you want an actress or an actor that can pull off the roles? Bella Ramsey is an accomplished actress. She's very, very good. I mean, she was how old when she did Game of Thrones, and she like is the one that everybody talks about. You know, all these videos that people making, you know, the best, you know, what do you call it? What do you call that? The best like sound bites or the best quotes from her character, Lyanna Mormont, right? I watch those videos over and over again. They're just hilarious. How she just talks people down and pretty much reads people the riot act and goes, you know, you didn't do nothing. You didn't step up. How about you? You know, you're a disgrace or stuff like that. She was just talking all kinds of just, and she was right. Look what she did at the end, you know, of her time there, right? She went up against a damn giant and stabbed it in the eye. She went out like a boss, she went out like a beast. And then in this one, I like how her character is. A little bit of the same. You think about Lyanna Mormont if she was a little bit older, and this she probably would be doing this. She probably would be like Ellie, if like she could be in the modern day like this, you know. But yeah, I can't say anything, you know, anymore. You know, I can't, you know, like this anymore. I love this show. It really is good, and this episode was really a good way to start. A good way to kind of get us into this whole world of The Last of Us. I mean, and they did a good job. And I'm saying this, and this episode 1. So let's see what episode 2 and 3 and onward until it's episode 9, until the season is over. But I'm invested, and I'm definitely going to check this out every week. And this time, I'm not late to the show here, or late to the party. I ain't saying that because that's another channel. But you know, I'm not late to the dance, if you will. And I'm actually going to be following this as the episodes come out every week. But anyway, that's my video for The Last of Us. This is episode 1 entitled, oh, what is the episode name? It says, When You're Lost in the Darkness. And these guys were in a lot of darkness, and yeah. Yeah, they were. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.